Okay, I'm back.
All right, brother.
All right, I had to do a lot of drop-offs and fill out some orders today, so I wasn't able to do a subject matter today, but I wanted to do a Q&A and, you know, if you or anybody else had any questions right now.
Oh, okay. I was waiting on two more. One of my brothers, man, they on the they actually on his motorcycle. He heading home now. So he said he'll call in the middle of class, and then my other boy, he's supposed to be online now. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rahul back. Okay. Yeah, it's just whatever people want to talk about, we talk about it. This one's going to be a little different. It's going to be like, you know, free form for whoever wants to say anything. Like I said, this week it's not going to be a specific subject, but it's just going to be Q&A.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. As far as the what is the whole thing with the dimensional shift? Like
the
as far as
shift?
yes, as far as Enlil and Nard, as far as them, because at one time, you know, Baba was talking about the Anunnaki, but as far as the new doctrine out, basically breaking out as far as the Anunnaki's Enlil and Nar being flesh eaters, and so as far as them being flesh eaters, and basically as far as their abduction, 144,000 is, you know, basically flesh eaters. So what is the whole story on Enlil, and then I guess Inky, because don't that supposed to be like Inky's brother or something like that?
Yeah, that's Enlil's Inky's brother. Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What exactly did you want to know?
So basically, Enlil and the Nard, they basically eat human flesh, basically, right?
Yeah, depending on which ones were connected or was mixed with reptilian seed, because specifically not every Anutu were flesh eaters, or not say flesh eaters, but those that were coming to eat us. Not every one of them. There's no mention of Anu doing this. There's no mention of Menti doing this, but we do know that Enki was doing this by record of the Sumerian Bible. And it's not just Enki or certain others. Because remember, Id, who was his mother, was a reptilian.
Right.
She was reptilian by her father. And remember, she was given to Anu as a treaty. You know how certain tribes, they've been doing this for millions of years, thousands of years, where you give a tribe gives over their daughter and their son, and they marry amongst. Well, Enki was the product of Anu and Id coming together. So when you're looking at the flesh eaters, and you read about this information, as a matter of fact, when you go further down the line, you're going into Cain. The true story of Cain and Abel, and how Cain killed Abel, was not what we learned in the religious scripture. Right. You find out that it wasn't a boulder he hit him over the head with. He ate Abel. Cain ate Abel, because Cain was a reptilian. He was from the same seed of Atum and Lilith. Atum and Lilith were reptilian. And they came out of the same seed as the Anakims. And the Anakims were who? Reptilians. So when you're reading about the flesh eaters or the eaters of human beings, those that were fighting off and trying to get the names away. You're reading about specific reptilians or specific Anutus that did these specific things. So, and you have to realize these are also shapeshifters. So when you're dealing with the Anutu or Anunnaki, as we usually would say, you're dealing with flesh eaters. So now I'm giving you specific ones. So now what we do in Nuwaupu is we will generalize and say, well, look, we're not dealing with any of them anymore because, well, for number one, to still use the names Anunnaki, Anutu, Anu, these are names that are coming from a dated information, 49,000 years of dated information to be exact. So if I'm still using this information, I'm still in some form connected to Sumerian Bible or Sumerian information, Babylon, Gilgamesh epics, etc. So that was the purpose of the scroll Enki's creator, because we were realizing that Enki was not who we're supposed to be using. We're not supposed to be using these names, these are reptilians. So we have to go from Enki to Ta, and from Enlil to Beth. These are who they really were. Because if you're reading about these specific deities, these specific Anunnaki, you're reading about information that was plagiarized from ancient Egypt in the first place, or ancient Tamare or ancient Tanun. You understand? So anytime people want a point of reference for something, you have to point them away from the Anunnaki, because getting on that information will only keep us in a specific school of thought. We got to get away from. We got to graduate. We got to get our mental to graduate away from those. So yeah, to go back to your question, we generalize and realize now that we can't call on those names because those names mean no good to us. When you're looking at certain ones, most of those deities, most of those Anutu were reptilians. The ones that we know that may not have been were Anu. For further information, to look even further, you may find out that he may have been a reptilian. But I had the privilege of reading the Sumerian Bible and getting the exact facts to know that Enki was a reptilian. You had Ninlil, the sister of Marduk. Marduk was a reptilian. Remember, he was converted from being disagreeable to agreeable, so he had the double helix, 180 of agreeable, 180 of disagreeable, so he became the balanced being or the balanced warrior of Sumeria. So, yes, when you're reading about that, it's time to make a confession in your mind or get to the realization in your mind that it's time to leave that information and leave those names alone, because the thing is, as he said, names have power and names have definition. So if we're consistently calling on these names, then we're aligning ourselves with the wrong people. You understand?
I understand.
Mm-hmm. Any more questions?
As far as the reptilian beings and stuff like that, they're also angelic forces also, right? Angelic beings.
Yeah, right? Well, yeah, when you say realize, when you say angelic can mean bad or good. Right?
Right.
Yeah, so we subconsciously, when we think angelic or angelic beings, that we automatically think these are good beings. Not all the time. You
right.
know,
you know how they say, like, okay, like how certain people, when they transition, they move to certain adults, like even a dog, even when a dog passes, it has a I guess with a spirit or whatever, but it's on a lower realm. But
right.
Like I guess what I'm trying to say, like reptilians, I guess they're on like a fifth or maybe like a sixth dimension when they transition. Like they also have like a spirit too, or energy ether when they pass, right? Or same so.
Depending on on their form. Depending on their form and depending on their ether level. Because you're dealing with angelic beings that when they come here, they basically drop down to a lesser degree. You know, if we're reading about, per se, the Anutu, just to give you an example. Oh, matter of fact, I won't give you them. When we read about the Enads, let's say we read about Sesmet, and we read about Tom Best, when they become physical beings to do the works for the creation of humans, these beings lower themselves. They have to lower themselves. So they shapeshift again. They shapeshift. So when they transition, they're transitioning, meaning the word trans means to move. So they're not transitioning, they're just transforming. They're just changing shape. They've already been on etheric level. That's what you're trying to get back to. You know, you're trying to get back to the point of no form but gaseous state on a non-etheric level. They've already been a non-etheric level. So when you're thinking of transition and leave, you know, it's like when you to go to your example of a dog. Dogs have a situation that they transition to as well. They have to make a transition that in their mind they've never been to. As opposed to us, we've been there before. The realization is that we've been to that level before, as our ancestors was once there. So if they once was there, we were there as well. So when you're dealing with the Enads, the 9 Enads, or just Enads period, or the Nadiru, these beings were already at a specific point. So they don't transition at all. They just go back to what they once was before, or they go back to whatever shape, shift, whatever desire or whatever form they want to go to. Whatever they so desire, that's what they do. We're trying to get to that state that they are at this specific time, that they can transform into whatever form they want to get to. Whatever shape they want to get to, that's what they form to. Whatever's in their mind, they personify that. They personify themselves in that form. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're doing our best to do as Muslims. Is learning about the ability to do it first. You have to learn about the ability before you can actually do the ability, and you realize it's not learning, it's remembering. You're remembering of something that you were able to do. The transitional phase, the transforming, is something that we were once able to do. But through religion, it taught you that these type of works are far-fetched and are crazy. So to get that out of your mind, the thought of it being crazy, that takes years to do, because religion was a huge spell upon our people through bondage and through concentrated effort. So we have to get that in our minds and realize, okay, it's time for us to get that worshiping God to realizing that we are God, plain and simple. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Awful. And what was the date for the Zero arrival? 2000. The specific date was somewhere within this year. This year was supposed to be our form of a transition within the Hinduat. Whether it was the name Nibiru or whatever name we use now, this year. Because we have two transitional phases that we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the Hinduat level. That's something that we need my father, Dr. Malachi Z, for, to make the call for us to go to the other side of the sun, through that black hole, through those grids. That's what we're trying to do. Now, as far as the information that we learn through the America map of the different vortexes, those happen every 10 years on the third year, like from 73, 1983, 1993, 2003, and 2013. We're dealing with both forms of a transition from this planet, but we want to deal with the one where my father is guiding us off this planet. That's what we're focusing on now.
So as far as a specific day, that's not where we're focusing on. We're focusing on sometime within this year, right now. You know, it's not about being at that spot at this point. There's no spot to be at if there's no Dr. Malachi Z. He can't give you a spot from prison because he has to be making that transition with you. And if he's not making that transition with you, then no one's leaving anyway. So we've already missed the bus or the boat or the manjit. That's what we're trying to do now. That's why every moment, every waking moment is a sense of urgency of what we're trying to do. You know, because we're trying to get out of here. And if that's not on our minds, then we have the wrong frame of mind. So, no, it's all about this year. And it has to get in our minds that if we miss this year, we have problems, especially, you know, vortex and everything else, especially Wu-Nuwaup. When it comes down to a delayed arrival, that's up to him and the two other guardian angels that aid him. Because he's Yanun and there's two others that assist him while he's still locked up. Okay?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
That's why when I was watching the Patarak classes or reading, he always say, I would leave and I will appear again when I'm needed, and look for me through the wind, look for me through the water, and yeah.
So we gotta look to get him out. Before we look for anywhere else, our focus needs to be getting him out. That's the number one focus. That's my focus. Anybody else, you don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm thinking about looking to get him out and not worry about anything else with that.
What's the best thing to do to basically get him out?
As of right now, you have different groups working to do what they do. I'm working to do what I'm doing. I'm not revealing it at this time, but it's just different factions are doing what they can do. It's just a wait period. Right. You know, it's just not the forum to just put it out there, especially on the airwaves. But
no, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, it's other people doing certain things, and it just be a sense of urgency. It's plain and simple. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Any more questions?
As far as the one more question. What was it? As far as thinking now, because I know when I get off the phone, it's going to be something else that come across my mind.
Yeah, that's how it is. Always.
Yeah, it's always like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the key thing right now, I guess, is just to keep on studying, you know, stuff like that. But like sometimes, I guess sometimes I feel, I don't know, like how you saying how we trying to get out of here, and sometimes I feel like this is definitely not my home.
Mm-hmm.
when Barbara says, give him back everything, you know, what does he, you know, that's what he actually mean, like everything?
Well, where we are now is not originally our home. This is established that. What we're trying to do is get back to where we're from on a relative level, and where we're supposed to be. You know, right now you have a training that's supposed to be going on for even that transitional phase, because there's some people who are relocating to parts of Africa. So mentally they're thinking transition. Wherever they are, they're thinking transition. Everybody's not on that level. So whatever you're studying has to be inclined with a transitional level to body, mind, and spirit and soul. All that has to be together, and it has to work together. It can't just be one level, it has to be every level. The language needs to be one of the biggest emphasis right now. That number one focus is the language and what we're speaking to each other. And whoever you are around, just make sure that they're on point with you. Even if they're not in the same state as you, make sure that they are on that point, or they're on point with you. If not, then you're wasting your time with that individual. That's what it's about. Even if you can't do anything on a legal level, whether it be working with a lawyer or anything, do something. Stay active. You know, people look for things like this. This is needed because it's aligning people together to think on the same mind frame. This is what people need. You know, so it's whatever you're studying, just make sure it has something to do with transition. Whatever it is, you know, train your mind to be able to accept what's around you and see through people that are revolving around you, or that you accept in your life and you accept in your world. That stuff is extremely important as well. I told a brother this 2 weeks ago. Who are you aligning yourself with? Who are you surrounding yourself with? That's important too, because they can either raise your energy level or they can drop it down, and that's extremely important to your life.
So basically, let's say like if you live somewhere with somebody and let's say they could be a friend that you went to school with or something like that, but if her energy is always competitive and don't want to see you in anything and just don't want to see you get nowhere and just want to see you down. With that, being that you in that person's space, but being that you on the positive note and you're not really feeding into that, but and that still can his energy, negative energy, like towards you, or don't want to see you get nowhere, or want to see you fall.
Yeah, they drain you. They drain you.
Right?
Yeah, they drain you. Whether you're talking to them or not, they're around you. They're in your world. They're in your energy. They're in your frequency. They're in your vibration. All that stuff is important. They surround you. You know, you might go, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear you complaining, blah 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 blah. But they're still in your company. So this is an advice to you or to anybody listening, that these type of people, you have to learn to distance yourself, because they're not doing you any good. If a person's not doing you any good, then why are they in your world? Why do you consistently keep them around? Because they are your identity. Who you surround yourself with, that is exactly who you are in your mind. Who you talk to, who you're around physically, who you mate with. That's you. Because you thought about it. They manifested to you physically because you thought about it first. The energy you put out, let them gravitate towards you. So you have to be the one to alter that, and like, I don't need these people in my life. And you accept that this is your doing. So now it's time for you to make that change, to get them away from you. You understand?
I'm trying to get this money, man, so I can like really sort of like, get out of here,
Nah, I hear you. We all on that point. Otherwise, brothers and sisters wouldn't come on this and ask the questions, especially the fact that you're asking the questions. Most don't ask because most are not on that level. Some don't ask, they may be scared, but you got people who just don't ask, they just don't ask. They just they don't care. They're stuck in the spell, they're stuck in that Las Vegas state of mind because they have accepted where they are mentally. They accept being under the spell. That's who they want to be. Those people you have to distance yourself from unless you have to absolutely be around them for whatever reason it is, whether it be a job or whatever. To surround yourself with that means that that's what you enjoy in your life. So it's all about what you want around you. Think about it.
Yeah, hold on, Ali, 1 second. I got to give my boy the number real quick. He wants the number and stuff. We lost it.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm here, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm about to let it go in about 5 minutes. So anything anyone has to ask, go ahead and let it rip.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you, man. So it's all about just making that change,
Yeah. Who are you? Exactly. Who are you? And you define yourself by everything you do every day because you think it. As you say, as a man thinketh, so shall he be. And that's exactly what it is. You think of everything you have in your life, everything you do, the state that you're in, where you're sitting, what you read. These are thoughts. And you pick these thoughts, as we say, from the mental reservoir, and that's reality. So when it comes down to this physical manifestation, and you have certain people in your life because you thought it, because that's what you accept. What's around us is what we accept in our life. When we accept mediocrity in our life, that's what we are, a mediocre person. If you're God, gods don't think on a mediocre level, they think on elevation. So if you're about elevation and you surround yourself with mediocre people, then that must mean you don't take yourself very seriously. That's reality. And what that means is it's time to start taking yourself very seriously. One more question.
Yeah, overstand that.
Mhm. Right.
I guess I just sort of, when I was basically in New York, I guess I just sort of like I basically came down here to work. And the people who I was supposed to work with, they ended up, they wasn't, I guess they wasn't like fully, Wu-Nuwaup or whatever the case may be. So I guess I didn't really get to work, so I ended up here,
Right. Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got to gravitate to what's better for you. Everyone's not about work. They're not about productivity. You need productive people around you. If you want to get productive or you want to elevate, be around people and talk to people who are trying to do that thing or already there. That's what it's about. It's not about keeping people around because you feel sorry for them. It's not about emotion no more. It's about reality, and it's about common sense and using intelligence. And if we don't use intelligence, we won't get anywhere in life. We'll do nothing but regress. Because in reality, nothing stays the same. You either are progressing or you're regressing. And when you make the same decisions and you get the same regressive results, then something's wrong with you, because you're not learning from your experiences. Life is this experience level, part of Wu-Nuwaupu, the experience level is the best teacher that you can have, because you pass that on to your legacy. But within yourself is that's what's molding you and making you into a better individual. So that's what it's time to do. You know, those people are where they are. They are where they are for a reason, and they are where they are for a reason, and you are where you are for a reason. So now it's time to think on a elevation level. Okay.
I got you. So I guess the key thing to this is basically more like meditation, basically.
Yes. That should be already implemented. It should already be there. Always think in your mind, as my father says, if you really want it, you would have done it already. So that is motivation. If you really, really wanted something to happen for you, you would have done it already. That is motivation. It's not about holding your head down and feeling sorry. It's about saying, oh, man, I'm late. I got to go get it. Plain and simple. We have a tendency as Nubians, as Africans in this country, to feel sorry for ourselves because we're not at a specific point in time. We have to stop doing that. Just say to yourself, if you really wanted it, you would have got it already. So now it's time to go get it. That's it. Keep your head up, keep a smile on your face, and handle your business, whatever it is. You know, it's a time and a place for everything. It's a time and a place to meditate, and it's a time and a place to create wealth. It's a time and a place to nourish yourself. You have to choose those times wisely. You cannot mix the two. Otherwise, you'll be an imbalanced being.
Oh, one more question before you hang up. As far as you work out, but also as far as the family guidelines, you have the 24-hour, I guess of the body. You got 8 hours of digestion. Have 8 hours of eating. Then you have 8 hours of elimination. So I guess from like 3 to 12, that's supposed to be elimination. You don't really supposed to maybe have fruit or stuff like that. So as far as working out and stuff, how do you add that with your, how do you put that together,
I mean, for me, what I do, I don't eat anything until everything inside of me the night before is gone. I don't eat anything else. We have a tendency, I notice, to stuff ourselves because that's a routine for us. We want a routine life. So for me, I don't eat anything until whatever was in me is out of me, and then it's time to break the fast. So for me, it's I just tell you what I eat: oatmeal, almond milk,
Patrice.
Dinner, Rahubat. It might be, for dinner, it might be wild rice and black beans. And my exercise routine is every other day, Fitness Connection. That's to keep a regimen about myself. That's just a regimen. It's about being consistent. The biggest thing on a man level is consistency. We have to be more consistent as men in every part of our lives. If we're not trying to do that, then, we'll be inconsistent and people won't trust you and they won't see integrity in you. That's the number one thing, is the integrity level about yourself. Okay? The diet is one thing, and that has to be taken care of, but you have to, as well, with the diet, study who you are as far as your blood type, those things. What is right for you to digest on that level? You know, we tend to eat whatever because that's good. But I don't think we're meant to do that, because we're supposed to know ourselves inside out. And if we're not studying ourselves inside out, then we're not really doing what we're supposed to do. We got to start doing these things. Study who you are, study your blood type, study what nutrients is right for you. You know, that's what going online is for, is to do extensive research about yourself. Yeah. So yeah, that's me. That's what I do. You know, may not work for everybody, you know, because we're different people. We're all different. You know, some stuff may work for people, some stuff may not. But we have to find out, you know, we want to pick certain things from people, but then learn what is right for us. If it's not right for you, don't do it. But find out what's right for you as an individual. Okay?
I got you.
No problem. All right, y'all. Till next week, Wadu.
Wadu.
Wadu.